The late summer breeze carries the sweet scent of ripening grapes through Stone Creek Estate. I stand on the balcony of our modern glass-walled tasting room, watching the sun cast golden shadows across rows of meticulously maintained vines. My phone buzzes with another Instagram notification. 10,000 likes on my latest post about our upcoming Harvest Festival. 3 years ago, I never imagined I'd trade my corner office in Silicon Valley for this vineyard in Napa. But life has a way of surprising you. Richard appears behind me, his footsteps nearly silent on the polished concrete floor. The live stream setup is ready for tomorrow, I say, not turning around. He places his hand on my shoulder, the weight familiar and reassuring. "You've done well, Amanda," he says, his voice carrying that slight hint of surprise that still stings after 3 years of marriage. The evening light catches his silver hair, softening the hard lines around his mouth. At 65, Richard Stone still commands attention, a trait that served him well as one of Silicon Valley's most successful venture capitalists. Now he pours that same intensity into Stone Creek Estate. My phone buzzes again. This time it's an email from our social media team about tomorrow's virtual wine tasting. 10,000 people have registered, I tell him, pride creeping into my voice. He frowns slightly. "Numbers aren't everything, Amanda." The old argument hangs between us like morning mist over the vines. I take a deep breath, inhaling the earthy scent of late summer. The industry is changing, Richard. Some things shouldn't change. His jaw tightens, a subtle movement I've learned to read like weather patterns. The sunset paints the sky in shades of pink and gold, but the beauty feels distant tonight. Inside, our staff is preparing for tomorrow's Harvest Festival opening party. The sound of clinking glasses and muted conversations drifts up from the courtyard. My heels click against the stairs as I descend to check on the preparations. Sarah, our events coordinator, rushes over with an iPad. "The live streaming equipment just arrived," she says, swiping through setup instructions. And Mrs. Chen, Ethan Stone, confirmed his attendance. My heart does an unexpected flutter. Richard's son. The prodigal entrepreneur returning home. I've only met him once, briefly, at our wedding. Tall, with his father's commanding presence but softer edges. Mixed heritage giving him features that catch the eye and hold it. That night, I scroll through his Twitter feed. 200,000 followers. Posts about sustainable agriculture and climate change. A recent TED Talk about revolutionizing wine production through environmental technology. Richard never mentions him. Old wounds, I suspect, run deep in the Stone family. Morning arrives with a blanket of fog that will burn off by noon. I check my reflection in the bathroom mirror. My silk blouse is perfectly pressed, makeup flawless. The face of Stone Creek Estate's digital presence. Sometimes I barely recognize myself. The girl who grew up in a small apartment above her parents' Chinese restaurant seems like a distant memory. The festival grounds are already buzzing with activity when I arrive. Camera crews setting up equipment. Caterers arranging elegant displays. Social media influencers arriving early to capture the perfect morning light. I'm doing a final sound check when I see him. Ethan. He moves through the crowd with an easy grace. Worn jeans and a casual button-down somehow looking more appropriate than the designer outfits surrounding him. Our eyes meet across the courtyard. He smiles, and something shifts in the air between us. Amanda Chen, he says, approaching. The woman who dragged my father's vineyard into the 21st century. His voice carries a warmth that his father's never does. Ethan Stone, I reply. The environmental revolutionary. He laughs, the sound genuine and unrehearsed. Guilty as charged. A camera crew waves to get my attention. Duty calls, I say. Save me a glass of the Cabernet, he responds. I hear it pairs well with revolution. The live stream begins at noon. I move through my practiced welcome speech, introducing Stone Creek Estate to our virtual audience. The numbers climb. 20,000 viewers. 30,000. My phone vibrates in my pocket. A message from an unknown number. You make wine sound like poetry. I glance up and catch Ethan's eye across the room. He raises his glass slightly. Heat creeps up my neck. The afternoon unfolds in a blur of faces and conversations. I'm discussing our new sustainable irrigation system with a group of investors when I notice Ethan in an intense conversation with a woman near the vintage cellar entrance. Through my phone's camera, I capture their interaction for the live stream. His hand on her arm. Her urgent whispers. The way they both glance around furtively. Later, I review the footage. There's something in their body language that seems off. I zoom in on the woman's face but can't place her. The clip has already gone viral. #Stone Estate Secrets trending on Twitter. Richard calls me to his office that evening. The room smells of leather and old money. Take down the video, he says without preamble. It's already out there, I reply. Removing it will only fuel speculation. His fingers drum against the mahogany desk. That woman, he says slowly, is Catherine Martinez. The name means nothing to me. She's from the Water Resources Board. My stomach tightens. Water rights in California are as precious as gold. What does she want with Ethan? Richard's expression darkens. That's family business. The dismissal in his tone is clear. But I'm not the same woman who married into the Stone family 3 years ago. I'm family too, I say quietly. He looks at me then, really looks at me. Are you? The question hangs in the air like smoke. That night, I can't sleep. The moonlight creates shadows on our bedroom wall. Richard's breathing is steady beside me. My phone glows with another message from the unknown number. Meet me at the Old Oak tomorrow. 6 a.m. I should delete it. I should tell Richard. I should do anything except what I do next. Okay, I type back. The Old Oak stands at the edge of the property. Morning fog swirls around its ancient trunk. Ethan is already there when I arrive. Thank you for coming, he says. His eyes are tired, like he hasn't slept either. What's going on, Ethan? He runs a hand through his hair. The vineyard is in trouble. My heart rate quickens. What kind of trouble? The kind that could end everything my father built. Birds call in the distance. The fog begins to lift. The water board is investigating our usage rights, he continues. Dad's been exceeding our allocation for years. The implications hit me like a physical blow. Without water rights, the vineyard dies. Why are you telling me this? He steps closer. I can smell his cologne, something earthy and expensive. Because you're the only one who might be able to help. His proximity makes it hard to think clearly. How? Your digital transformation plan, he says. It could be our salvation. The sun breaks through the fog. Morning light catches his face, illuminating features that are both familiar and strange. My father will never agree, I say. Then we'll have to convince him. His hand brushes mine. Static electricity crackles between us. Or maybe it's something else entirely. I step back quickly. I should go. He doesn't try to stop me. But I feel his eyes on me as I walk away. The next few days pass in a blur of meetings and social media management. The video controversy refuses to die. Speculation runs wild online. I throw myself into work. Launch our new virtual tasting room. Coordinate with influencers. Anything to avoid thinking about that morning under the oak tree. But Ethan is everywhere. In meetings about sustainable practices. At dinner discussions about the vineyard's future. His presence both unsettles and energizes me. Richard watches us with increasingly suspicious eyes. The tension builds like pressure before a storm. One evening, I find myself alone in the digital marketing office. The screens glow with analytics data. Engagement metrics. Conversion rates. Numbers that tell a story of success. But they can't capture the weight in my chest. The way my skin tingles when Ethan enters a room. The growing distance between Richard and me. A knock at the door startles me. Ethan stands in the doorway, backlit by the hallway lights. Working late? His voice is soft. Dangerous. Just finishing up, I say, not meeting his eyes. He moves into the room. You're doing amazing things here, Amanda. The praise feels different coming F. Rom him. Warmer. More personal. Your father doesn't think so. My father is afraid of change. He's closer now. Too close. And you're not? The question hangs between us. His hand reaches out, touches my screen. I embrace it. Our fingers brush. Electricity shoots up my arm. I jerk away as if burned. I should go. Amanda. But I'm already moving past him. Heart racing. Pulse pounding in my ears. The cool night air hits my face as I step outside. Stars wheel overhead, indifferent to the chaos below. My phone buzzes with a text from Richard. Coming to bed? I stare at the message for a long moment. Type yes. But my hands are shaking. And I know, with a certainty that terrifies me, that everything is about to change. The harvest season arrives with an unexpected heat wave. Grapes ripen faster than usual under the relentless California sun. Our irrigation systems work overtime, pumping precious water through ancient veins of earth. I check the digital monitoring system obsessively. Each drop counted. Each allocation measured. The numbers don't lie. We're running out of water. Richard spends more time in the vineyards now. His face weathered with worry. I watch him through my office window, moving between the rows like a man counting his heartbeats. Ethan's warning echoes in my mind. My phone buzzes with his latest message, meeting with the water board tomorrow. We need to talk. The sun sets blood red over the hills. That evening, I find myself in the wine library. Cool darkness. Rows of bottles telling the story of years past. Footsteps behind me. I thought I'd find you here. Ethan's voice sends shivers down my spine. The water board? I ask without turning. It's worse than we thought. His reflection appears in the window beside mine. They're auditing all the vineyards in the valley, but targeting us specifically. He moves closer. Someone filed a complaint. The air feels thick between us. Who? Does it matter? His hand brushes my shoulder. I should step away. I don't. Tell me about your plan, I whisper. Sustainable irrigation. Smart monitoring systems. Reduced water usage by 60%. Each word brings him closer. We could save the vineyard, Amanda. His breath warm against my ear. Together. The moment stretches like spun glass. Ready to shatter. A door slams somewhere in the house. Reality crashes back. I step away quickly, heart pounding. Send me the proposal, I manage to say. His eyes hold mine for a moment longer. Already in your inbox. The next morning, I wake to chaos. Hashtag Stone Creek water scandal trending on Twitter. Anonymous sources. Leaked documents. Our water usage records splashed across social media. Richard calls an emergency meeting. The boardroom feels like a funeral parlor. Damage control, he says, voice tight with anger. I present our options. Social media strategy. Press releases. Transparent. Why initiatives? Ethan sits across from me, quiet but intense. Or, he finally says, we could actually fix the problem. The room goes still. He pulls up his presentation. Sustainable agriculture plans. Water conservation technology. A complete transformation of Stone Creek Estate. The cost. Richard begins. Is less than losing everything, Ethan finishes. Their eyes lock across the table. Years of tension crackling between them. I find myself holding my breath. Show me the numbers, Richard finally says. Victory flashes in Ethan's eyes. Later, he catches me in the corridor. Thank you, he says softly. For what? For making him listen. His fingers brush mine as he hands me a folder. Electricity arcs between us. I pull away quickly. But not quickly enough. Days blur together. Meetings with contractors. Environmental assessments. Press interviews. Ethan and I work closely on the transformation plan. Too closely. Every accidental touch feels deliberate. Every shared glance holds meaning. Richard watches from the shadows. His silence growing heavier. One evening, I stay late reviewing proposals. The office empty except for the hum of computers. Ethan appears in my doorway. You should see this, he says. We walk through the moonlit vineyard. His experimental irrigation system gleams like silver veins. "Watch," he says, pulling out his phone. The system comes alive. Water flowing precisely, efficiently, beautiful in its simplicity. "It's amazing," I breathe. He turns to me, moonlight catching his face. "You're amazing." The words hang in the air between us. My heart pounds so loud I'm sure he can hear it. "Ethan, tell me you don't feel this." His hand finds mine in the darkness. "Tell me I'm imagining it." I should pull away. I should run. Instead, I stay, frozen between desire and duty. His other hand cups my face. "Amanda." The sound of footsteps on gravel. We spring apart. A security guard passes nearby. Reality crashes back like a wave. "I can't," I whisper, and flee into the darkness. That night, I lie awake beside Richard. His breathing steady and unknowing. My phone glows with an unread message. I don't need to look to know who it's from. Guilt gnaws at my insides. The next morning, news breaks about water rights violations throughout Napa Valley. Stone Creek Estate isn't mentioned. Yet. Richard paces his office like a caged animal. "Someone's targeting us," he says. I think of Catherine Martinez. Of leaked documents. Of whispered conversations in dark corners. "We need to get ahead of this," I say. He stops pacing. Looks at me with tired eyes. "How?" "Full transparency. Digital transformation. Ethan's sustainability plan." His jaw tightens at his son's name. "You trust him?" The question carries more weight than it should. "I trust his vision," I say carefully. Richard studies me for a long moment. "And what about my vision?" "Amanda?" The words cut like glass. That afternoon, I throw myself into work. Launch new social media campaigns. Coordinate press releases. Anything to avoid thinking about last night. But Ethan is everywhere. In meetings. In hallways. In my thoughts. His sustainability plan moves forward. Construction crews arrive. The vineyard hums with activity. Change hangs in the air like electricity before a storm. I feel it in my bones. In my heart. In the growing distance between Richard and me. One evening, I find myself in the old wine cellar. Cool darkness. The smell of earth and oak. Footsteps on stone stairs. "I knew you'd be here." Ethan's voice echoes off ancient walls. "We can't keep doing this," I say. He moves closer. "Doing what?" "You know what." Silence stretches between us. Heavy with unspoken words. "I can't stop thinking about you," he finally says. My heart races. "I'm married to your father." "I know." His hand finds mine in the darkness. "That's what makes this impossible." But we don't let go. A door creaks above us. We spring apart like guilty teenagers. Richard's voice calls down the stairs. "Amanda?" "Coming," I reply, voice surprisingly steady. As I climb the stairs, I feel Ethan's eyes on me. following me into the light, into a future I can't allow myself to imagine, but already have. The Harvest Festival looms like a storm on the horizon. Our biggest event of the year. Hundreds of guests. Live streaming to thousands more. And secrets threatening to burst like overripe grapes. I stand in front of my closet, staring at designer dresses. Each one a costume for the role I'm supposed to play. My phone lights up with Ethan's message, "We need to talk." Before tonight. I delete it without responding. But my hands shake as I apply my makeup. The festival grounds transform under morning light. White tents gleaming like sails. Tables laden with crystal and flowers. Our new sustainable irrigation system on proud display. Richard surveys it all with critical eyes. Everything must be perfect, he says. The weight of his words settles on my shoulders. Guests begin arriving at sunset. Women in flowing dresses. Men in tailored suits. Cameras capturing every moment. I play my part perfectly. Smile for photos. Give interviews about digital innovation. Pretend my world isn't cracking apart. Ethan arrives fashionably late. Dark suit. Untamed hair. Eyes that find mine across crowded spaces. The live stream numbers climb. 50,000 viewers. 60,000. Watching our carefully choreographed dance. Richard takes the stage for his speech. Words about tradition, family, legacy. His hand finds mine as he talks. But it feels wrong now. Like trying to hold smoke. The crowd applauds. Cameras flash. And somewhere in the chaos, I slip away. The old oak tree offers sanctuary. Cool darkness away from prying eyes. But I'm not alone for long. Running away. Ethan's voice behind me. Just needed air. Liar. He steps closer. Moonlight painting shadows on his face. We can't keep pretending, he says. My heart pounds against my ribs. I'm not pretending anything. Another lie. His hand reaches for mine. I let him take it. What are we doing, Ethan? Falling. The word hangs between us. Heavy with truth. His other hand cups my face. Tell me to stop, he whispers. I should. God, I should. Instead, I kiss him. The world explodes into starlight. Everything I've been holding back crashes through. His arms wrap around me, pulling me closer, making me real. A twig snaps nearby. We break apart, breathing hard. Reality floods back like ice water. Oh my God, I whisper. And run. The party continues without me. Music and laughter floating on night air. I hide in my office, trying to piece myself back together. My phone buzzes endlessly. Messages I can't bear to read. A knock at the door makes me jump. Richard stands there. Face unreadable. Are you all right? No. Nothing is all right. Just tired, I lie. He studies me for a long moment. The water board made their decision. My heart stops. And we're clear. Relief floods through me. The sustainability plan worked. Ethan's plan worked. The way he says his son's name. Something in his tone. Richard. Don't. He turns to leave. Pauses in the doorway. I'm not a fool, Amanda. The words hit like bullets. The next morning, headlines scream across social media. Stone Creek Estates triumphant victory. Environmental innovation saves historic vineyard. Ethan's face on digital magazines. The prodigal son returns in glory. I avoid everyone. Hide behind screens and schedules. But I can't hide from myself. From the memory of that kiss. From the way it changed everything. Richard grows more distant. Speaking only when necessary. His silence an accusation. Ethan tries to catch my eye in meetings. Sends messages I delete without reading. But every accidental touch burns. Every shared glance hurts. The vineyard feels smaller somehow. Suffocating. One evening, I find myself in the wine library again. Surrounded by bottles of memories. Years of history pressed into glass. We need to talk. Ethan's voice behind me. There's nothing to say. There's everything to say. He moves closer. What happened? Was a mistake. The words taste like ashes. You don't believe that. It doesn't matter what I believe. His hand catches my arm. Turns me to face him. It matters to me. His eyes hold mine. Dark with intensity. I love you. The words shatter my carefully constructed walls. Don't. I love you, Amanda. Tears burn my eyes. Please stop. Run away with me. The offer hangs in the air. Impossible. Tempting. I can't. You can. His hands cut my face. We can start over. Build something real. Something ours. Each word breaks me a little more. Your father doesn't love you like I do. The truth of it hits like lightning. And then we're kissing again. Desperate. Hungry. Like drowning people finding air. The sound of breaking glass. We spring apart. Richard stands in the doorway. A shattered wine bottle at his feet. Red liquid spreading like blood. His face. Oh God, his face. Dad, Ethan starts. Get out. Richard's voice is ice. Both of you. Get out of my house. I try to speak. But there are no words. No explanations. No excuses. Only the truth we can no longer hide. And the sound of everything breaking. Like that bottle on the floor. Into pieces too small to ever fix. I run. Past concerned staff. Through manicured gardens. Into the night. The stars wheel overhead. Indifferent to the chaos below. My phone buzzes in my pocket. One new message. Meet me at the old oak. Please. I stare at the words through tears. Knowing whatever choice I make next. will change everything. Forever. The night air carries the scent of ripening grapes. Sweet. Heavy. Like the weight of decisions. And the price of love. I drive through the night with no destination. Past sleeping vineyards. Beyond city limits. Until the Pacific appears like a black mirror under starlight. Pull over at a deserted beach. Let the waves drown my thoughts. My phone shows missed calls. From Richard. From Ethan. From the social media team dealing with speculation online. I turn it off. Watch the moon sink toward the horizon. Morning finds me in a small coastal town. A motel with vacancy. Room 212. Views of nothing but ocean. Perfect. I sleep for 12 hours straight. Wake to hundreds of notifications. Hashtag Stone Creek scandal trending again. But different this time. Personal. Brutal. Someone leaked security footage. Ethan and me under the old oak. Our kiss played on loop across social media. My hands shake as I scroll through comments. Accusations. Judgment. The carefully crafted image I built crumbling like sand. A text from Sarah, the press is going crazy. What should we do? I have no answer. Another from Richard's lawyer. Divorce papers being prepared. My throat closes up. I order room service. Watch the waves. Try to remember how to breathe. 3 days pass in oceanside exile. I avoid the news. Ignore social media. But reality finds me anyway. A knock at my door. My heart stops. Amanda? Ethan's voice. I should ignore it. I open the door. He looks terrible. Unshaven. Eyes red from lack of sleep. How did you find me? I know you. Simple words. Complex truth. He steps into the room. Dad's selling the vineyard. The words hit like physical blows. What? To a corporate consortium. Everything we built. Gone. He sits heavily on the bed. Unless. I know what's coming. We could buy it. Together. Start fresh. His eyes hold mine. Full of hope. And something else. Some. Thing that scares me. With what money? My environmental tech patents. They're worth millions. The waves crash outside. Steady. Relentless. Like his presence in my life. It's not about money, I say quietly. Then what is it about? Trust. The word hangs between us. I trust you, he says. But I don't trust myself. His face falls. Understanding dawning. Amanda. I destroyed your family. We did that together. No. I stand. Move to the window. I made choices. Broke promises. Betrayed trust. The ocean blurs through tears. I can't do it again. He's behind me now. Not touching. But close enough to feel his warmth. What if it's real? What if this is our chance? My heart aches with possibility. What if it's just another mistake? Silence stretches between us, filled with waves and regret. I love you, he says simply. I know. That's what makes it worse. He doesn't leave immediately. Stands there watching me, memorizing. Finally turns away. The door closes softly behind him. I cry until there's nothing left. Days blur together. I extend my motel stay. Watch the ocean. Try to find myself in the waves. The divorce papers arrive by courier. Richard's signature already there. Bold. Final. I sign my name with shaking hands. Watch my marriage dissolve in black ink. My phone rings. Sarah again. The new owners want to keep you on. Digital marketing director. Better salary. I laugh without humor. Tell them no. Hang up before she can argue. Open my laptop instead. Book a flight to New York. Time to start over. The morning I'm set to leave, I drive back to Stone Creek Estate. One last time. Dawn paints the vines gold. Workers already moving between rows. Everything looks the same. Nothing is. I park near the old oak. Walk the familiar paths. Remember everything. The happiness. The passion. The betrayal. My phone buzzes. Ethan, are you really leaving? I don't respond. Some questions don't need answers. The sun climbs higher. Time to go. A figure stands by my car. Richard. My heart stutters. I thought I might find you here. His voice carries no anger now. Just tiredness. I'm leaving, I say unnecessarily. He nods. I know. Silence stretches between us, heavy with unspoken words. I'm sorry, I finally whisper. I know that too. He looks older somehow. Shoulders bent with invisible weight. The new owners will change everything. Yes. More silence. Ethan? Gone to Seattle. His company's expanding. Something tightens in my chest. Good. Richard studies me for a long moment. Was it worth it? The question I've been asking myself. I don't know. Honesty at last. He nods once. Turns to leave. Pauses. Be happy, Amanda. Then he's gone, leaving me alone with the morning sun and all my choices. I drive away from Stone Creek Estate. Watch it disappear in my rearview mirror. The six. Ness. The memories. The love that broke everything. My phone shows one last message. Ethan, I'll wait for you. I delete it without responding. Turn onto the highway. Toward New York. Toward whatever comes next. The California sun rises behind me. Bright. Relentless. Like hope. Or regret. Or maybe both. And